Forget to subscribe and click the bell to get notifications.
So that's really good information. I like that you quote Dave Ramsey because that's something that we hear a lot about, really looking in the best neighborhoods. That's a quick way to get your market value back up. So you mentioned MLS and Realtor.com and some other places. Are those the sites that you primarily use when you're looking for properties?
So I use various sites. I utilize resources like we talked about earlier about hashtags. I look at various different people that are in the industry that are selling properties. I look at, and then I go back and analyze by basically seeing if they're selling a property at an undervalued amount. So Realtor.com, yes. Zillow, yes. Even though there are tons of errors that will be on Zillow, there will be some houses that'll be on there that are already sold. But in terms of getting numbers, in terms of being able to see what's within various different mile radius, you can best utilize Zillow. When I make purchases, I purchase through auctions. And so I go to actual live auctions. So you can go to any county sheriff's office auctions. So if you Google that, whatever county you're in or whatever county you're interested in purchasing in, you can look up their county sheriff's auction sale. And they will have a list of properties that they are selling in that county at the auction. And you can find some amazing deals there. I also use a site, bidforassets.com, bidforassets.com. I've purchased several different acres on this site. I've purchased property from this site, and I always go back to the way I analyze properties. Am I buying something at an undervalued rate in an area that already has baked into it equity? A couple nuggets. Because I'm in the fix and flip world, of course, the wholesaling is going to be a quick buck. Fix and flip is going to be a large buck. There's a lot of money that you can make in that process. But the end game should be buying properties and holding those properties and having rental income for a lifetime, which can be passed on from generation to generation. If I swindle off $200,000 or $700,000 from fix and flip money, if I had a portfolio that had tons of rental properties in it, that money will continue on even after I'm gone. So the end game is for long wealth and for generational wealth is to have a portfolio filled with either multifamily or even single family, but a portfolio filled with rental properties that are sustaining you, which are bringing you in monthly residual income that can be, like I said, can be passed on through generations. Places that are amazing for either fix or flip, wholesaling, or buy and hold properties. In most cases, you will not see a decrease in your value. Is downtown in major city areas and around military bases. Now, these are two nuggets that I don't tell a lot of people, but I'm telling you guys, for the YouTubers that have subscribed, if you buy a property in a military town and you just want to flip it, okay, your value is going to 9 times out of 10 be there. If you're going to buy it and hold it, and you're going to lease your property to military personnel, you have a 100% chance of getting your rent paid if you do the right steps. And I can tell you, if you give me a call or if we connect, I can tell you how you can make sure that you always get your rent from renting from a military personnel. And so those are two particular areas that you really want to look in to see if you can find an undervalued property that already has baked in equity. The military is going to be something that's always here. And in most large bases, they're not really closing down many bases right now. And even though there's not really a whole bunch of wars that we hear about that are going on, those are two nuggets that, two places where I would strongly suggest investing. Okay.
So I want to go back to something you mentioned at the beginning about buying properties at the auction. You've received a lot of questions about what that process looks like from start to finish. I know that might be too much to tackle here, but are you going to be doing a video to walk viewers through what that process looks like from start to finish, from the moment you bid to the moment you actually get the keys to your property?
Yes, I will do a follow-up video, but I'll give you a little small synopsis of how that works. So prior to auctions, we talked about you can go to the county office or even go on their website. There is a list that every county that is hosting an auction, and some are even on that site, Bid for Assets, but the ones that are having live auctions, they give you a list prior to the auction of properties. And what you want to do is evaluate that property, analyze that property. And in some situations, I would never tell you to go inside the property. Never tell you to do that. However, if there is a way for you to see what's going to be involved in the renovations, I would highly suggest taking a peek at the property to see what's going to be involved with it. Outside of that, that's before the auction. Then you do your analysis of the area and of the properties that are selling in the area. This is before you even step foot on the auction site, or auction grounds. You want to do as much due diligence as you can in terms of identifying if this is going to be an undervalued property, whatever it is I bid. So, and then you want to, when you actually do make it to that auction and you've decided which ones you're going to bid on, you want to know all of the details in regards to how much money you need to bring to the auction, have all of the information prior to going into the auction, as much due diligence you can before going there. Once you get there to the auction site, be prepared to see people kind of act like they are big stuff, bidding on everything. They may be loud. They may even look at you, stare at you, kind of funny acting. But as long as you have your target number, your max number that you will bid on, you want to be able to stick true to it and actually bid accordingly. Like, you don't have to show out and say $1,000 when increments are $100. If somebody bid 100, so then you bid 200, you don't have to bid $5,000. Okay, so. But that's a process I will go deeper into. And auctions are still a viable way to gain access into real estate investing.
Nice. Okay. Well, our last and final question is, how do we fund these properties?
Okay. So there are several methods that we even talked about in terms of ways you can get into real estate. Particularly, our model here is we believe in group economics. So what Colbert Universal has done and what we're planning on doing for further properties is giving people an opportunity to be involved in a joint venture with us, where you're able to provide a portion of the funds to the next renovation, the next fix and flip. So that way, when we're at the drawing table or we're at the selling table, when we're selling the property, you get a nice portion of the proceeds back because you are an actual partner in this joint venture. So that's one way. Another way is hard money lending. You have an entry process into getting into real estate investing. I would suggest starting wherever your funds allow you to start.
So, as we wrap up, is there anything that you would like to just leave as a lasting impression, or any final nugget for those who might be afraid to jump in, or they might be hearing more negative than positive? What would you say to that person who is just kind of teetering on the edge of getting into real estate?
If you're teetering on the edge, I would say don't do it. If you're teetering on the edge, don't do it. You want to put yourself in a situation to where you're comfortable with making a life decision for not only your future, but for generations' future. And so if you're on the fence, don't do it. But what I would suggest is do additional research in that process of not acting upon or not moving forward with investing or not putting your money towards something. Do some additional research and always identify areas for improvement. And so if you are working a 9 to 5 and you don't have the time to manage, you don't have the ability to manage real estate investing, do some more research and see what others are doing and see where you can get in and fit in and be profitable. If you were to identify a list of the most wealthiest people, you'll see that within their portfolio, a large portion of their portfolio is real estate. This is for us changing the trajectory of us not being or not having wealth. And so when you think about real estate investing, you have to find what's going to work for you, and you repeat it, you recycle it, and you keep it on autopilot.